Hi and welcome to my channel. We're up to the rising sign of Libra for the rest of May. So I'm just going to jump straight into the cards because, yeah, I don't know exactly when I'll be uploading this, and I think it'll be uploaded after the full moon. So it's sort of getting later in the month. So yeah, so I'm just going to skip the intro, which that pretty much was the intro anyway. But yeah, anyway, let's see what came through for you. Waxing crescent moon. Okay, so that's a 3-day window after the new moon, so that's good. That's new moon energy we're starting up with. It's new moon in sidereal Taurus. Tropical will probably say it's in Gemini, but I follow sidereal, which covers the actual size of the constellations, so there's more accurate placements. So yeah, so the new moon will actually be through a telescope. You'll see it in the constellation of Taurus. Yeah, so that's a 3-day window. The new moon over here will be on the 27th. Some places it'll be the 26th. So we were looking at the 3-day window from, say, if you're US or UK, it might be the 26th. So then you go 26th to 29th. Or over here it'll be 27th to 30th. That time frame, that three-day window. Okay, what else? Now we've got a waxing gibbous moon. This can be one of two things. Either, because again it's a 3-day window, either because, like I said, I don't think that I'll get this up before the full moon. So either consider what might have came up for you during that phase, that 3-day window before the new moon, full moon. Again, anywhere from the 12th to the 16th or something, would it be? No, 12th. That's a 3-day window. Over here it would have been the 13th, so 10th to 13th, or 9th to 12th. Yeah, that's where I was getting the 12th from. Okay, yeah. So it could be the full moon. I will say the full moon, by the time you guys see it, we would have just had. Otherwise, it could be moving into the next month, which that might also be why, sorry, I knocked it. That might also be why I've focused on the 12th, because I think the full moon in June will be on the 12th or around about the 12th. So it could be that time frame as well, from the 9th to the 12th next month in June. So we'll take note of those dates, either something that came up with this month's full moon, or take note of the timing for next month. 10th house, so career and ambition. Your 10th house is in Cancer. That's right. You have yeah, 'cause 7th is your descendant, which is Aries. So yeah, your 10th is in Cancer. So some sort of home-based business, career, or a career based around family. It might be some sort of family law, or because you're Libra, family law, or family some sort of family groups or something. Uranus, freedom and change, wanting to go in and stir up things. Psyche, okay. The biggest thing with the asteroid Psyche is the you know, the I was going to say what we're feeding our mind, body and soul, but I usually pick that up with another asteroid. But this is about not letting other opinions, others' opinions weigh us down, and not taking on other people's opinions. Yeah. So last quarter moon, okay, that's right before the well, you might, or hopefully by that time you would have been able to see this. I was going to say movie. Oh, why would I have said that? That might come through in the reading. I don't know. There might be a movie that will help out with this in some way, that might give you that sort of ambition, 10th house, sort of wanting to liberate and free yourself from attachments of outdated opinions. But yeah, this is the last quarter moon, which means it's smack in the middle of the full moon and the new moon energy. So we'd be looking around about the 19th, 20th of May there. And again, this is full moon energy. This is still new moon energy because it's not yet full moon. And so is this. So this is the start of the new moon, right? The start when it just happened within the first 3 days. This is the final 3 days of the new moon, if that makes sense, before it turns to the full moon. And then, of course, a week after the new moon, this guy actually, wait, no, yeah, because that's a week after the full moon. A week after the full moon, yeah, the 20th. I'm sort of skipping and jumping, confusing myself. Pallas Athena. Here we go again with the not listening to others, weigh up the pros and cons, the warrior goddess, standing strong, standing firm in your beliefs, not taking on others. Cancer is in the 10th. Well, this is definitely something to do with your career, whether you work from home or some sort of family-like thing, something to do with family that you do. Now we've got first quarter moon. Now this one, again, is the same thing, exactly a week after the new moon, where that's a week after the full moon. Okay, let's work this one out. Okay, Spirit, what do we see here? Bringing in the new is the new moon. Now you've got 3 new moon energies here. This is just after, this is just before the full moon happens, so it's still new moon energy. And this is also still new moon energy. Technically, this guy is in between both of them, if that makes sense. And then that crescent takes place some days after that one. There's a lot of more the new moon energy coming in, wanting to break up the status quo, not listening to well wishes, weigh up the pros and cons about what advice is actually helpful, or whether you actually even need to take someone's advice. Because maybe if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing, and you already have the information you need and you don't need someone clouding your vision, I want to say. Making tweaks and changes with the full moon energy. And see, this guy didn't come out first, so I feel like the full moon energy isn't really that intense or negative, even though it seems like, there's something going on here. I think it's more about a new persona, bringing in the new, changing maybe changing a dynamic, but I think this is you coming into your power in some way. Not being afraid and not, because Libra is, you know, a little more easygoing than they should be sometimes, and sort of wanting everyone to be happy, you know, always the other and not yourself kind of thing. But yeah, I think this is you standing up and standing strong for yourself and not taking BS. You know, if people have got opinion, people will always have opinions, but it doesn't mean they're right, and it doesn't mean all opinions are right. You know, hopefully I'm making some sense, but I think this is where you need to stand in your power, because it's something to do with your work and that homely vibe, maybe, because it's 10th house, covered by the Cancerian sign. Let's have a look what else is coming through. Pluto, your ability to transform, take a big leap forward and rebirth. Pluto's also in retrograde, so this is perfect because it's introspection. It's looking within. When things are retrograde, planets, whatever, are going retrograde, it's about us needing to look further under the layers, you know, rather than what's going on outside of us. It's what's going on inside so that we can then rise. See, they're rising out of the ground where they were hidden. Now they rise. Yeah, breaking up the concrete, I like to say often when Uranus comes along, there's the concrete broken and now Pluto's coming out. So you've got two very powerful heavy hitter planets coming in to help you out here. And I think the main focus is bringing in the new. You've got each of the cycles, the new moon itself with the crescent reminding you, okay, this is the most powerful time with the first 3 days of a new moon, and then this is reminding you at the end, you know, have you been working through this, and how are you getting on so far. And this again is reiteration after that, if that makes sense, because it goes do, if that makes sense, how it traverses. And I think this full moon energy, like I said, it didn't seem to be the more potent thing. The full moon energy, I think, is telling you any tweaks and changes. It's always that way, that with the new moon, if we've brought something new in, or we've changed some dynamic or something, if something new comes into our environment in some way, or a new way of doing things, or a new item, we need to take time to get used to it, to know the ropes, to learn the ropes, so to speak. And that's where the full moon energy can help us to make those changes and get used to that, you know, grease the wheels, get everything in motion, and know how things can run. And I think this is where you can bring in this new you, in a sense, I want to say. Standing in your power, Uranus doesn't let anyone hassle him. He's on his side, and he doesn't care who thinks what about him. He's going to do it anyway, kind of thing. It's not about disrespecting others, obviously, but I think here it's saying you need to stand in your power, and this is weighing up the pros and cons in that sense of what works for you, what is healthy for you, is healthy for your psyche, you know, how you feel about things. What are you taking on, or what dynamic you're taking on, or what sort of belief system. We didn't get Sagittarius or 9th house, but sort of it can be things like that. It can be a long, deep-seated belief system, not necessarily religious beliefs, but a belief system about a certain thing is this way or a certain thing is that way, and that can be blocking us and holding us back in some way, you know. And so that's where weigh up the pros and cons to see what this might be for you, and then you can clear the way, you know. Bring in the new and then make the adjustments to how you will be perceived in the world. Your rising sign hasn't come through yet, though. Mars, taking action. Your physical energy, drive, strength, and fighting spirit. Fight for yourself. In that sense, not fight as in argue, but if you don't stand up and stand strong and be a warrior for yourself, or who else is going to be, kind of thing. And this is something to do with your career because it's 10th house. And what's this one? Yeah, rising sign has come through right in the middle. This energy is diplomatic and gracious. It seeks harmony and balance in relationships. Well, you know, a familial or family vibe. Your career has something to do with that. Relationships of all sorts. Taking action with how the world sees you. Virgo, the alchemist. Yeah, alchemize this. Virgo's in your 12th, the Pisces house. Don't let fear and self-doubt be the thing that holds you back. Step into the power of Palace and Psyche and work out what's best for you. 11th house, the edge. Go to the edge. I want to say, can I fit another one in? I don't know. 11th house is the Aquarius house, and that's in Leo. So, fun with friendships. Okay, how does that fit into the work environment though? Or work and no play? Clearing up the work environment so that you can enjoy friendships more. Saturn, wisdom. Having the wisdom to look into it. And courage, which Mars as well can give courage, to bring in that new you, I want to say. Life is always about changes. Life itself isn't stagnant. We always change every day. You know, new cells and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I think this is you not taking crap. Uranus doesn't take crap. And having that wisdom to show the world an empowered you. Because look, here's the big monster here, right? And this tiny guy with one little spear, but he's going to keep going, you know? And that's you in your power. You're not going to be afraid of the, I want to say, yes, you're not going to be afraid of the monsters, but the monsters aren't going to be as big as you think they are. I want to say that. You might feel like that, but this guy's still fearless, see? And that can be you. And you'll find those monsters aren't as big as you thought. Okay, so what's this? 3rd house? Perception. Yeah, perception. All in perception. Don't be afraid to stand in your power. Okay, these may or may not have reversals. We'll have a look and see what's conjunction, alliance. That's good. That's upright. Conjunction generally is about other people. You've got your 11th house of friendships, groups, social circles. And then, like I said, the family environment to do with work in some way. Whether it's the people you work with is like some sort of close-knit family feeling group, like feeling like family. Or you're working with your family, or you're working from home around your family in some way, or they're around around you, around the home while you're working. But yeah, there's something about stepping into your power. It's going to be, and you be the alchemist of your life. What's this one? Pisces, sensitize. Well, I was just touching on that, which is your 12th house, but Pisces isn't in your 12th. It is in the Virgo house, that's right, because you have opposites. Yeah, it's in your Virgo house. health, duty, service to others. So again, the Pisces Virgo doubled up energy in both cases with your 12th and your 6th. Flying in formation with those who, you know, are on the same page as you, standing in your power and not just accepting crumbs, I want to say. Having that wisdom to weigh up the pros and cons and work out what might be holding you back, what is good for you and what's not good for you, and then rising from the ashes, because perhaps it's been a bit difficult for a little while because you've been taking on the opinions of others. And that can be really, I want to say damaging, but there's another word I'm looking for, sort of dampening, holding you down. It can be, yes, it can be damaging, obviously, but it can really slow you up and really thwart you from where you need to go. And breaking through the concrete, taking action to show the world who you want to and what you want to be seen, the way you want to be seen in your power. What's this guy? Chiron, heel. All of them upright. That's fantastic. Yes. That's where it's going to be, standing up for yourself, standing in your power. It's going to be having the wisdom to weigh up the pros and cons about how you want to go about that. But don't be, it's not like you want to step on people's toes, but at the same time, you don't want to go, oh, but if I do this, someone might not like it. Well, too bad if they don't like it, you know. This is how you stand in your power. You can't be holding yourself back, worrying about how the world sees you, because how the world sees you is going to be better when you're standing in your power. And there's the wisdom of Saturn. Okay, so now we've got the numerology cards. So let's see what's about that. Patience. Okay, well, this is the sacral chakra. Creativity, healing. What else? It can be about relationships and sexuality, but that really didn't come through because Scorpio and the 8th didn't come through. 2, relationship number. Having patience with yourself, maybe. I mean, it could be that having patience with others could also be that you've been too patient with others, which has held you back from rising and standing in your power. I mean, you can still have patience with others and stand in your power, but not hold yourself back because you worry about how someone might deal or not be able to cope with how you're standing in your power. I don't know if I'm making sense. I hope I am. But you can't always worry about how someone else might perceive something because, again, perception. The only perception in this case that's important is yours. And if you know you're not standing in your power and this is screaming at you to stand in your power, you've got to put you first. You're right in the middle there. Bam, with Mars right next to you saying, let's go, let's do this. Happy ending, yeah, yes. Big beginnings, big endings. And then 3 is action, activity, youth, newness, and communication. And this is the solar plexus, personal power, ambition and self-worth. Yeah, a lot of healing coming through. Don't know if I can squeeze another card in, so I might pull them across. Don't know if they're in the camera or angle or not. Yeah, I never get a good angle with this phone, so I'm sorry, but hopefully you can see all the cards, or most of them anyway. Okay, so completion, another 9. spirituality and completion. Big beginnings, big endings. Yeah, and there's a massive beginning with you standing in your power, which technically also is an ending with you being unempowered, if that makes sense. And then, getting used to the new you and how you want to move in the world, if that makes sense. Communication, there we go again. And this is a master number. Communication, youth, newness, youth, action, activity, taking action, Mars. And it's 6, which is a temporary opportunity, focus, detail, and dignity. But I also say when I see master numbers like this that more than one person is going to benefit from working with these energies, and that includes you. So more than one person, including you. 10, karmic completion. Something happy ending. See, you're completing a cycle by starting to stand in your power, and it's going to be a happy ending. And 1 is personal power, and I think it's, what is it? I think leadership and individuality. And in this instance, I think it's incredibly important that you have individuality. That seems to have come up with another reading. Anyway, and then 0 is, karma, the karmic circle of karma going around. And then the base chakra, grounding, stability and security. Effort. Well, yeah, it's going to be a bit of effort, especially since you're more worried about what other people think and feel. So it's going to take effort to go, you know what, I'm just as important. I have to make this about me right now. And that's not it's not a bad thing this time around. It's like Spirit is saying, you gotta put yourself in that position where you're saying, I know my worth. I am in my power. And there we go again, personal power and leadership and what else was it? I've forgotten the other thing. It can be travel, I think, too. I'm getting that. But I didn't get 9th house or Sagittarius. But there may be travel. It could be emotional, like, or taking a metaphorical trip, in a sense, by daring yourself to show your worth and your power and let people see that you know your worth and power. And then we've got 3 again. 3 and 1 comes to a 4, which is the number of the builder. Building structure. Yeah, see, building on you and then getting used to this new way of being and doing. Individuality, I said that. I think that was what I was looking for, wasn't it? Was that the word I was looking for before that I'd lost for a second? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, individuality, base chakra, grounding, stability, security. Yeah, individuality. And see, this is the thing as well. You shouldn't be afraid to show your own individuality, and you even in relationships, because two people can still have their own individuality while still having a healthy relationship. And again, this is another master number, relationship number, and 1, and then another 1, if that makes sense. So like I said with this guy, with the double numbers, more than one person is going to benefit from working with these energies, or from you working with these energies by default. And there we've got the individuality and personal power. And I've lost the other word though. There was something else. I'll rewind because I already said it earlier. I've just forgotten the word. Yeah. But relationship with yourself, having patience with yourself, I really think that's more what that's about too. Okay, so the universe has some abundance messages. What do they say? No matter how much money or love you've made or lost, you can still make more. Get down on it, the universe. Yes. So never think that all is lost, so to speak. And don't be worried that things will just, implode or fall apart in some way because you're finally standing in your power. In fact, it's the other way around. Things will start getting better because people will see that you know your worth, and so then they will treat you accordingly. So much more awaits you. There'll come a day when you look back at where you've been and where you now are and call these your warm-up years. More love, more fun, more friends, more laughter, more thoughts, more things, more, lots more. You're so cute, the universe. And then this one. Plan the celebration now. Sweep the floor, clean the slate, pick a date. Window shop, buy a few things, go out on a limb, rearrange the furniture, pick some flowers, take some time off. No, not necessarily because the tipping point has been reached, but because this is how you reach it. How's today looking? The universe. Yeah, see? Happy ending. Plan the celebration now. Wow. All you got to do is step in your power. That sounds easy. And you've only got one of these. Gratitude. Thank you. This is a heartfelt thanks to you from someone you recently helped in some way. I, your guardian angel, also wish to thank you for the unconditional love you emanate to the earth, humanity, and those around you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are eternally blessed. May peace, grace, and love forever guide you along your sacred path. See? Someone, you're being thanked from the universe by someone who you recently helped. Not everyone's going to thank us that we help. And so the universe is stepping in and saying, we're thanking you on their behalf. Having patience with that. There was something else I was going to say with that, though. Yeah, so it's time. Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say. So you have helped others even if they have themselves not shown gratitude, or you've perceived they haven't shown gratitude. The universe is thanking you, that you did that for those people anyway. So you've done enough. Not that you have to stop, but you've done enough, and now the universe wants you to stand in your power and put you first and bring in whatever it is that you want to in terms of career and ambition and self-worth. Your work life, your friendships, which might be within your working environment. But yeah. What I'm getting is the most important thing is standing in your power. And by doing that, this conjunction could be you aligning and flying in formation with your spirit team, or the friendships and social circles that may or may not be, may or may not be to do with your work environment. But in any case, becoming sensitized and patient with yourself and working on standing in your power is going to be healing, because there's a happy ending. There's a definite happy ending by you putting yourself first. Yeah. Okay, well, I think I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to keep going around in circles otherwise. um, but yeah, so I wish you all the best of luck with working with these energies, standing in your power and in your personal truth. And you're going to go a long way that way. You really will, because the happy ending is here for you. Okay, I'm going to leave it there and wish you all the best of luck, Libra risers. And until next time, bye for now.